Good evening, YouTube viewers and subscribers. Today I have an interesting subject for me because I've never owned a K&B 61 engine. Suffice it to say, this arrived in the mail today. I did not purchase it. It just kind of showed up at my doorstep thanks to a very awesome fellow modeler. So this was in a Ziploc bag, and I put the muffler on because I was taking some pictures of it. The Ziploc bag had on it written new. But the thing feels sticky, like it was soaked or stored in that bag that had oil or something on it. Anyway, I'm not so sure it's necessarily new. It could be new, but the thing that's odd about this is that it's really stiff. And to me, I have never ever seen a brand new engine from the factory that was that stiff. So my feeling on this is that this engine has actually been run once and then put away. But that's kind of why I'm going to take a look inside of this engine, because I kind of need to figure those things out. Let me get these screws out of here. So if you look inside here, look how shiny the side of that piston is. Let me see if I can move it down. I mean, that thing looks brand new. Guess I could pull this plug. Now, it doesn't have a K&B plug in it, and I'm pretty sure that these engines actually came with a K&B plug installed. It has some sort of an idle bar plug. It looks like a Fox Miracle plug to me. Let's see if we can look inside the top of this piston. See if I can get it to top dead center. I don't know. To me, it doesn't even look like the top of the piston's got anything on it. So, pretty interesting. So I'm kind of excited because, like I said, this is the first time I've ever had a K&B 61. I've got a K&B 20 Sportster engine, and this is the first time I've ever had a K&B engine at all was with that engine. Some of the things I think are sort of interesting about this engine, and those of you that know K&B engines will just say I'm silly because I don't know what I'm talking about, but the needle valve assembly is odd because it has a locking nut that you can kind of, like, you can set the needle valve and then you tighten that thing down and then it won't ever move. What I tried to do was, this thing was extremely loose. In fact, it just began to unscrew the whole spray bar assembly, which is not what I wanted to do. It was so loose that this needle was just really kind of, it didn't even really feel like it was doing anything at all. So I kind of tightened that down enough so that it at least put a little bit of tension on this thing. It's just an odd arrangement here. I've never seen, you know, forgive me for not knowing much about K&B engines, but I've just never seen a K&B engine before like this. The whole thing just came out. But I mean, this needle valve doesn't, the needle itself doesn't have an O-ring seal on it like many others I've seen. I mean, it's just this threaded rod basically with a point on the end. So, I don't know, we'll put that aside for now. Exhaust kind of has a smell of fuel, but I mean, you'd be hard pressed to believe that this thing had been run because there's not a, you know, doesn't look like any kind of carbon buildup on it at all. But yet, this engine is very tight. I think I want to try and open up the back plate first. Now, the other thing that's odd that I've never seen on a two-stroke engine before either is this little plug. It's got a slotted, oh wow, it's got a slotted slot in there so you can take that out. And I've got a screwdriver here, I can take it out, but I want to take this back plate off first. You can see right here there's some kind of black or brown goop on there, which maybe is residue, some fuel residue, I don't know. I don't know the history of this engine at all. Like I said, it pretty much just showed up at my door unexpected. So I know nothing about the engine, so I want to try and find out some stuff about it. I do recall back when I got into the hobby in 1988 seeing these engines advertised then. So I know this engine has origins that go back at least that long. I gotta make special note, this little cutout thing was in this orientation. I'm not sure I understand why that is yet, but we'll find out. But anyway, this engine was available at the time that I was starting in the hobby, and for whatever reason I just never bought K&B engines before. But so yeah, this engine has been run once, and it's got a gasket on here, and I'm not about to take that gasket off because I'm sure it'll get destroyed. But look inside here. It's pretty interesting because it does look brand new. I'm going to throw some 3-in-1 oil in here real quick and see if we can't. Of course, I've got the glow plug out now, so I can get some more stuff going here, get a little oil on here. I think the only other thing I want to do with this is maybe just take the head off and look at the top of that piston. And then I'm just going to oil it up. Throw some oil in here. Oil it up, and maybe I'll throw some heat on it so I can get it turning free again, and then I'll give it a run. But before I run it, I really kind of want to know if it looks like it's really. I mean, I think this has been run once, and it's a ringed engine, so it's not broken in. So I have to treat it like I need to break it in. So ringed engine, break in. That's what I need to do with this thing when I go to run it. Okay, I didn't expect to see that. I'm not exactly sure what you call this design. This piston has got a baffle on the top of it, which is good because it means you can no way, shape, or form put this head back on wrong. I'm trying to see if this is a gasket or anything. Doesn't feel like it's wanting to come off. So I don't know, maybe there is a gasket on here and it just hasn't come off, which is fine. I don't want it to come off really. But yeah, I mean, look at this engine. Thing looks brand spanking new. Like I said, I think it was run once and maybe put away. That's the only thing I can think why this engine would be gummed up feeling like that, because I've never seen an oil from a factory, a brand new factory engine. I've even had some new ones that sat for many years. I had a brand new OSFS 61 that I got a few years ago that was a brand new engine, and that engine predated, was probably dated around 1984, so, and it had never been run, and it was not stiff at all. It felt just like it came from the factory. So my assumption here is that this engine has actually been run once, and that's why it's gummed up feeling. But I mean, overall, pretty nice specimen. So let me put this thing back together, and hopefully we'll get it on the stand here maybe this weekend. So I decided to turn the camera back on because I was reassembling this engine, and when I went to put this back plate back on, the screw in this corner was just rotating, and it didn't feel like it was biting into anything at all. And I'm not so sure how well I'm going to be able to zoom in on this, but to me, I'm looking at that through my magnifier. Right now I'm not, but I mean I was, and I'm not even really seeing much in the way of threads cut in this engine case. I mean, it kind of feels like a screw wants to go in there now, but I see it's screwed in there. I don't know. It was weird because I was rotating it and it went down, but then it just never would tighten up. So I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Let's try this one more time and see. And I also noticed that I never did take that little plug off, which I'm not sure I'm going to see anything when I take that off. I'm just going to see the sleeve. So those are snugged up. They felt like they're screwing in. Now this one, oh, I guess I should zoom out just a hair more. So looks like it's going down, but then once it gets to a certain point it never tightens anymore. Like it's not really biting. So I don't know what's going on there. These three snug up, but this one doesn't at all. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I don't know if that's the result of a previous owner messing with this, or if that's actually it wasn't properly threaded at the factory or what, but it's a bit disturbing. I mean, I think it'll seal with 3 screws tight. I mean, it looks like it's screwed in, but yet, and when I had the cover off it felt like it was definitely screwing in, but maybe I just need to try and find a slightly longer screw and give that a shot. See, it looks like it wants to come out. I wonder if these, it's not the same screw. I was going to say, maybe I just have to find a slightly longer screw. Maybe the threads are kind of stripped in this area and they're deeper, so if I can find a longer screw, I think I'll be in alright shape. But if this is a new engine, then this is a little disheartening, because that means that either previous owner stripped this thing out. I didn't see threads or aluminum on the threads of the screw when I took it off, so I don't know that it was stripped, or it just means it was a poor manufacturing process. Now, one thing I do know about K&B engines is they're made in the United States, and if you can look here, I mean, the casting is definitely not something to write home about, and perhaps this is one reason why I never bought a K&B engine, because when it comes to quality, I just don't know that they have it. But if an engine is given to me for free, I'm going to play with it and I'm going to run it, but I don't really particularly care for the look of this casting at all. I mean, it's kind of shiny, but it looks kind of crappy too. So anyway, look for some more videos on this engine when I start to do a run, and we'll see how the thing runs anyway. But I thought I'd turn the camera on and at least show what I found there, and it's, I don't know, it's a little disappointing in a way, but anyway, thank you for watching.